Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas, everybody out there. And I hope everybody's staying safe. Stay away from the COVID. Wear your mask, wear your gloves, social distancing. I know if you don't believe that, that's okay. But there's a lot of people out there that are sick that would like to still be alive. So I'm staying safe. Money Mike's staying safe. Albert, his brother's staying safe. We're all trying to stay safe and make it to the new year and pick a lot of winners. That's our job here, is to pick winners and keep everybody alive if we can. Money Mike, you and I have been hit and miss a little bit. Last week we went a little. I had a pretty damn good week, but see, I've been kicking ass with the totals, so that's been really good for me. I got a bunch of totals for this week as well. I've got one big play going on Saturday. Let's talk about some of these games. There's a lot of meaningful games, Mike, and there's some games that don't mean anything, except I'm going to put this out there. You know, you talk about these teams that everybody's, they're tanking. They want the players don't give a shit about that. They want to keep their jobs. They want the quarterback on the Jets and the players on the Jets don't care about Lawrence, all that stuff. I mean, they want to keep their jobs. They don't want to be bagging groceries or working on the chain gang out there. They want to keep football players. So they're trying to win. Maybe the owners want to tank, but the players usually want to win. They just want to win and keep their jobs. So I'm not shocked when things like that happen, when the Jets going out there and playing and winning. So anyway, that's for amateurs to look at. That's for the media to look at. It's all bull. We're going to start off with, we got some games going on. Got a lot of bowl games going on. I did bet Hawaii this morning, and I bet the under as well. There's a couple reasons for it, but I won't go into that too much right now. I've also posted all my January 1st plays. I like those games as well. So we've seen Minnesota is on Friday. They're playing at the Saints. The Vikings are shockingly bad on defense. I mean, shockingly bad on defense. And they're playing at the Saints. And Drew Brees, you know, everybody talks about it, but the truth is he doesn't have the arm he once had. And he looks like he's failing. But a lot of these older quarterbacks, and you don't talk about somebody that's old, 40 years old, being, you know, old. I mean, that's young, but not for a football player, not for the NFL, not for when you have situations where guys have been banged around their whole life. They played little league ball and all that stuff, and it takes a toll, and it looks like it's taking a toll on Brees. He doesn't look like he has the arm strength to move the football team, and when you have some players out in addition to him, they're not as strong. I mean, they're laying 7 in this game. It's 6.5 at a couple places. The Vikings' defense is horrible, but they have a good running game. Cousins can move the ball. He's been inconsistent, but at times he keeps both teams in the game. But you got a game here that was 7.5. It's down to 6.5 or 7. The Saints are favored at home against the Vikings. And there's a history with these two teams going back to the playoffs last year, so that's a consideration. But the Saints want to keep winning. They're 10-4. They want to, you know, they have aspirations to go far, and they could. They got a team that could actually be a Super Bowl contender. I don't know if Brees can do that unless he has all his weapons and he's able to manage the game. He's a very smart player. He's very talented. He's been great. But he's getting older, and I think this is probably his last year. Mike, what do you think?
Well, he's had a good career. I agree with you. Well, they've lost 2 in a row, so they could use this game just in case the Packers would fail at one of their last 2 games. Well, even if they end in a tie, the Packers have they win because of the head-up matchup where they beat the Saints. I used the Saints in a 4-team teaser, Jim. I started with the Saints even. I used 7 points. Saints even, Tampa Bay -2, the LA Rams +8, and the Tennessee Titans +10.5. Now tomorrow, like you're saying, the Saints, is Thomas going to play?
I don't
know that answer.
I don't think so. I think they put him on injured reserve. Let me go check, but I believe I read that he's on injured reserve. I will check in a minute. Thomas is definitely out. He's on IR, so he's not playing.
Well, that doesn't really help the Saints. Breeze looked terrible last week, coming off the rib injury and this and that. I mean, he threw for under 50%, I believe. He needs all the weapons he can get. But the Vikings, you needed that game last week. They're at home against the Bears as a short favorite, and they couldn't beat Trubisky and the Bears. So to me, I think this is a bad spot for the Vikings. The energy and the emotion and everything will be with the Saints being home on Christmas Day. And by the way, wish everybody a Merry Christmas, happy, healthy. I had the COVID test the other day. I wasn't feeling bad, but my brother, who has reasons to get a lot of those tests, invited me, and I came up negative, so I'm feeling fine for my age and all. But on to the games, I like the Saints. Like I said, I use them in a teaser even, and it should be an interesting game. They got more to play for. How that plays out, we'll find out tomorrow, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Merry Christmas to you and Albert. And I want to ask, how's our friend doing that we know he tested positive? How's he feeling?
He's feeling good. He's staying in. He's on about day number 9 or so. He's going to stay in probably till next week, and I believe he's going to go get a test maybe early next week. And if it's all good, which we pray it is, he'll come back out. And he's a young guy. He should be okay with this. But I know you text him. I text. We're all in touch with him all the time. So we'll see how he fares out. I'm pretty sure he's going to be just fine, Jim. Thank you.
Great. Saturday we go to one of the games you mentioned, Tampa at the Lions. The Lions' entire coaching staff seems to be in question. They have either tested positive or they've been in contact with people that have tested positive. So most of the defensive coaches are not going to be there, and I don't believe the head coach. I'm not sure if the head coach is there either. But Tampa Bay they're hot and cold, man. I don't know. They just don't seem to be on the same page all the time, the coaching staff and the players. Of the older quarterbacks, Brady at times looks pretty damn good, but other times they just don't seem to be meshing. And I don't know if it's him or the whole game plan. I mean, the talent on this team is pretty good. You would think they would be playing better. They're a 10-point favorite at the Lions. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen to Stafford. I probably like Stafford more than you do, Mike, but I think Matthew Stafford is an excellent quarterback, and his career has been basically ruined by being, he's well paid. Okay, we're not going to argue about that. But he is a much more talented guy than I feel the Lions have ever gotten out of him. And I think he's just been saddled with a terrible organization, and the Lions have been a terrible organization. If he would get traded and, say, end up with the Patriots or something like that, I think he could be very dangerous. But in this game, taking a 10-point favorite on the road, there's no way in God's earth I'll be playing Tampa Bay at that price.
No, me neither. I played the -2, so I bet it when it was 9. I took Tampa -2 in a teaser. I agree with you with Stafford. He's been on the wrong team all these years. He has a lot of potential. There's sometimes he's messed up, but they all do. But he had Johnson there for a while, but he never seemed to have the right players, the right coach, this and that. But, him, Carson Wentz, I think they both need a new team, a new atmosphere and everything to help them along. But no, I like Stafford. I've played Detroit a lot of times, especially when they're a dog, and I really like them when they're at home. But when he has his full arsenal of receivers and Swift and Godley and all those guys are healthy, I think they could do a little bit of damage. But their coach, he never had, really Jim Caldwell. Now he had Patricia, who's terrible. He needs a good coach, Jim. I think you got to be put in the right spot. So,
yeah, he definitely does need to move on to another team. But I don't know how long Brady's going to keep playing. I mean, he wants to play longer, I believe, so he might be around for a couple more years, but him and Arians have got to get on the same page. And he can't sit back in the pocket. He's not mobile. They got to get some run-pass options. They got to create the running game. They got to go with some underneath passing like he did in New England for all those years. Yeah, he can throw a ball down the field, but that's not his game on a consistent basis. It's and they just don't seem to mesh. I mean, they're not anywhere near what I think they should be to match their talent. But I'm not laying 10 on the road with anybody, and I'm going to pass the game and move on to the next game. San Francisco at Arizona. Basically, this ballpark has been San Francisco's home field now for about a month because of the COVID issues in San Francisco area where they play. They have not been allowed to play there, and they moved to Arizona for their home games, and now they're going to play a road game in Arizona. Arizona is still in the hunt for the because you need a game doesn't mean you're going to win the game, but Arizona's the favorite in this game, open 3.5 up to 5. One book right now I see Jazz has it at 4, but most places are 5. San Francisco, because they've been living on the road for a while, they all went home for Christmas. And the next day, of course, is this game. It's a very confusing situation. Beathard is going to be the quarterback for San Francisco. Mullen is probably a little bit better on a consistent basis than him, but Beathard is a talented guy. He's had his games. He's had some good outings. But he's also had some... Mullen has been up and down, definitely not consistent. Garoppolo has been out for a while. This is going to be a rebuilding offseason for San Francisco. There was a Super Bowl last year. They won 3/4 of that game and then blew it at the end. They certainly have not had a good year. They got a ton of injuries. It's been a terrible year for them for injury-wise. And Arizona is a strange team. They can light it up. They can score a lot of points. They're they are a very aggressive offensive team. Murray is, he's a talented guy, but it's a strange situation with him. He runs the ball well, he throws the ball well, but he is short. So over the middle is a problem for him because he has to go over the linemen, which are much bigger than he is. This is Arizona's game to win. San Francisco doesn't look right for this matchup with all the situation with their injuries and the travel and where they've been displaced. What do you think about it, Mike?
Well, this is one of my bets. I made 3 bets, and this is number 1 besides the teaser. I took Arizona -5. Like you said, the Niners are all banged up. It's Beathard, and Rosen's going to be the backup. Now, Arizona will come to play. They'll flex their muscle here. They need this game bad. No way the Niners secondary will stop Hopkins or Fitzgerald or Kirk or Murray running the ball. I think you're going to see a game here where they show that they're very good. The Niners, they got hammered with injuries. If everybody was healthy, they're a very good team, one of the best teams in the NFC. But with all those players out, they really have nothing to play for. Like you said, they went back home to see their families, and that's fine. But I just think Arizona, they're going to show, like I said, they need this game. They're chasing the Rams. They're chasing Seattle. Right now, they're the number 7 team, so they're in there. A loss would really hurt them. So I like this game a lot. This is a big game at home. I think Arizona shows up and does quite well in this game, Jim.
Moving on to the next game is here's in Las Vegas, and we have the Raiders hosting the Dolphins. Now I know the Dolphins are 9-5, and everybody talks about Tua, and they're so they keep winning and covering, but quite honestly, I watch those games their defense is solid. They run the ball well. Their special teams are good. Their coaching seems to be doing a good job. But man, I watched Tua play, and I just don't get excited about his style of play. And I don't know. Is this a smoke and mirror thing with the Dolphins? Now I'm not touting the Raiders here because they've actually been playing terrible. And if it wasn't for the bonehead play by the Jets, they would have lost that one too. And they're 7-7 on the season, but they haven't played well in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, Miami's the best team this year against the spread, Jim. They're 11-3. I can't bet the Raiders. Their defense is flat out bad. It's been bad a couple years now. They give up 30 points. I think last year was 8 games. This year I don't know how many it's been, but it's been quite a bit. They got lucky with the Jet game, and Miami's got lots to play for. Because if the Colts and the Ravens win their last 2 games each, and Miami happens to lose a game here, they're going to find themselves on the outside looking in with the Raiders. So I believe they'll show up here. Tua, he got growing pains with him, but I think you got the better coach. I know Gruden's been around a long time, but I'll take Flores in this matchup. Gaskin, the running back, coming back, and when he plays, they're very dangerous. The receivers from last week, I don't know if Parker and Gesicki from Penn State will be back, but if they are, that gives them a few more weapons. And the Raiders have not been a good home team this year in this new stadium. Maybe because there's no fans. I really don't know, but it's no play for me. But I could never take the Raiders in this game, Jim.
Well, it looks like Carr is questionable for the game. And if he doesn't play, it'll be Mariota. As far as Gesicki, he is also questionable. When they say questionable in these games, I think they're probably going to play. I totally believe the Miami is the better coached club, and I think they're more ready to win. But Miami, a 3-point favorite on the road, it just doesn't. I mean, they're not a high scoring team.
Right.
But the Raiders have a terrible defense, and then they give up a lot of points. It's not a game that I'm going to play. I mean, the Dolphins are an under team. The Raiders are an over team, and I just don't know who's going to show up. It's not a game I'm going to have any money on. Maybe some in-game stuff, but nothing what they call like pre-game. I'm not going to go for it. We move on to Sunday. Well, this is an interesting game. The Broncos and the Chargers. Now, I don't know if anybody in the world is a worse time manager than Anthony Lynn, the head coach of the Chargers. This guy doesn't have a clue. He has no clue how to manage the clock and make decisions at the end of the game. They won a couple of games. They're 3.5 point favorite over the Broncos. They have a quarterback that out of nowhere, he is absolutely the best rookie quarterback this year. Herbert is just fantastic. He's unbelievably fantastic. And it's too bad he doesn't have a better coach. But they're both 9-5, or 5-9, I should say. The Broncos have been a big disappointment. It looks like the Chargers 3.5 or 3 minus a lot of juice, and about 49 is the total.
Yeah, it's no play for me, Jim, but the Chargers will be a team to reckon with down the road with Herbert. They got a lot of young players, very talented team. They need the right coach. This is what, Lynn gets a lot of good publicity, bad publicity. Maybe for some reason he's not handling this team too well for whatever reason it is. But I would say the Chargers should win this game. I'll take Herbert, like you said. He's the best rookie I've seen, but it's a no play. These teams aren't going anywhere. But the Chargers get a good coach. I think Herbert and the young players on defense and offense they have, they should be successful down the road. But there's a lot of games here I'm not going to play. I wouldn't play. Like I said, I made 3 bets in a teaser, so we can move on to who's next, the Browns and the Jets.
Yeah, if you don't have anything, we could just skip over the game. The Browns and the Jets. The Browns are 9.5, 10-point favorite on the road. I'm not interested in the game. I don't know if you are. Stop me if
no.
It's okay. The Bengals are at the Texans. This is another nothing
Right.
game. I mean, the Browns. Let's go back a little bit. The Browns do have a lot to play for. They could actually end up winning their division, and all they need to do is have Pittsburgh continue to play like crap, and and keep winning, and then win the last game against Pittsburgh, which I'm sure they'd love to do anyway, because they've suffered against the Steelers for years. But Browns are playing very well. They're 10-4. They're well coached. They finally seem to have a coach that can manage Baker Mayfield, and Mayfield has looked good. And they got a good running game. They're just overall a pretty damn good team. 10-4 on the season. The Jets are 1-13. Now we move on to the Bengals and Texans, and both of these are 3 and 4 win teams. These are bad teams. I have no interest. Do you have any interest?
No, you could skip a couple of these. Yeah, I have no interest.
The Colts are at the Steelers. These are two very good teams. Although, I should say that Pittsburgh Steelers looked like a very good team, but they've actually lost 3 in a row, and the other night they lost a pretty ugly game to Cincinnati, who's a bad team. The Colts are playing well. Rivers has moved on from the Charger days. He's doing a good job with the Colts. This Colt team is pretty tough. 10-4. They're a 1.5 or 2 point favorite at the Steelers, which is remarkable that they're favored. But the way the Steelers have played the last 3 weeks, you can see why there's been such a big swing.
I hear that. I hear you, Jim. Yeah, it is a big swing. To me, it's too much of a swing, but I'm not going to play a game. Steelers have lost 3 in a row after looking like, the champs of the AFC had winning their first 11. They looked like they were going to give the Chiefs a battle, but I don't see that happening no matter how the season plays out these last 2 weeks. I don't think the Steelers are a matchup for the Chiefs anyway, but the Colts are a very nice team. I just have a feeling that the Steeler defense will get to fill up Muddy Rivers in his old age because he can't move a lick. So I'm just having a feeling. I could be wrong, but if I was to play it, I would go with the Steelers as a home dog. I know you're not that inclined like I am. I'm not saying I'm going to, but I just have a feeling they'll be on him. I mean, it's hard for me to see them with that talent on defense to lose 4 in a row. I know they've lost a couple players, but the running game will be the key. Can they run a little? This Colts plays good defense, good offense. I'm not in love with the coach. I know you like Frank Reich. He's Carson Wentz's buddy. That's who Carson misses the most. But I just have a feeling they're going to be on Rivers. We'll see how it plays out Sunday, Jim.
I'm not being involved in the game. Pre-flop, let's call it, but. At this moment, maybe if there's some line movement or some injury stuff or coming along, or weather, you got to look at the weather too. They're playing outdoors in Pittsburgh, so you have to look at that. The Bears are at the Jaguars, and there's something going on here with these Bears. The Jaguars are now sitting in perfect position to get the first round draft choice, and like I said before, I don't know the players give a damn about that, but the coaches might and the owners might. But the Bears and Trubisky, all of a sudden Trubisky actually looks like he can play. And I know that that a lot of people thought highly of him when they drafted him, because they drafted him ahead of Mahomes and ahead of Watson, which was absolutely incredible when you look at their history in the NFL. But all of a sudden the Bears, who have a good defense, are starting to get some offensive production. And the Jaguars, they're a mess. I don't think the Jaguars will beat the Bears here. I think the Bears are the right side to win this game. However, I am not going to lay 7.5 points with the Bears. If I was going to do something with this, I'd probably take the Bears in a teaser. But I won't be playing them in a straight bet.
Right, it's no play for me, but maybe Trubisky sitting on the bench while Foles was playing, maybe he woke up. I don't know. I mean, he has shown moments over the few years he's been in the league. because he can run a little. He's a little mobile. That there's potential, but then, I mean, I've seen some bad games from the first one. When he came back this year was that Sunday night against Green Bay. He looked terrible. But, you know, you got to figure, boy, Minnesota, that tells you how their defense is. Like you said earlier, it's bad. Jacksonville has nothing to play for. Maybe, you know, they're not going to go in the tank like you say, but at the moment they're the number one draft pick. So we'll see what happens. I have no opinion there. The next game I know you like a little bit with the total. So
yeah, I do. I like the Panthers and Washington football team under. But I also like Washington, and I'll tell you why. I mean, Rivera was fired by Carolina last year. Now, I'm not knocking Carolina, and Bridgewater as a dog, they've been absolutely incredible. But to win as a dog in this game, you're going to have to play very close because you're only getting two or 2.5 points. So it's not like they did last week against Green Bay, where they got 9 and they lose by 8. This is a different animal. Now they got to beat their old coach, and the coach has got a little bit of animosity towards getting fired. I mean, they got a new owner down there. Somebody bought the team, and Carolina changed their coaching staff, and they changed everything. They got rid of the coach, but Rivera is a quality coach, and this Washington defensive line is very aggressive, very aggressive. They lead the league in sacks. They're extremely aggressive. They're going to get after Bridgewater. And McCaffrey, I doubt, will play. I mean, they keep saying he's questionable, but I don't think they're going to play him. But in any case, I like Washington to win this game. I think they're going to win the game. And they have a lot to play for. They're 6-8. They're playing for the division title, which is, I mean, it's a terrible division with Philadelphia and the Giants and Dallas, but they are 6-8. They are leading that division, and if they win, they're going to win it. And they're not a bad football team. Now, the quarterback issue, Haskins obviously does more work in the strip clubs than he does on, with the football team. He might get suspended. We don't know what his situation is. And Alex Smith, who is the quarterback at this moment, has been hurt. So my proviso here is we need Alex Smith to be the quarterback. And if that's the case, if he's going to start the game, I will be betting on Washington and on the under. If Haskins is the quarterback, which is a possibility, I will be betting only the under. That's my possibilities for that game.
Yeah, the only way I could play this game is if Alex Smith is playing. You're correct. Because if they win this game, they win the division. Dallas and the Eagles can't catch them if they end up with seven wins here. Well, Dallas could tie them, I believe, if they win their last 2. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it. It's like I said, it's a non-play for me. So. Well, we'll see what happens. I like what you're saying with the under, but I guess we gotta wait. I doubt if Alex Smith is healthy, he'll play. I mean, Rivera's not going to play Haskins if he doesn't have to in this situation because I believe that he won't be on that team come next year, Jim. I think they'll move on from him. He's making too many immature mistakes, this young guy, and he doesn't seem like he's learned anything. So, but good luck with the under, and we'll move on to the Giants and the Ravens.
Yes, I don't know if you have a play in this game or not, but
no play for me.
I don't care who the Giants play at quarterback. The Baltimore Ravens are going to smoke them. The Ravens need to win. Now, the unfortunate thing about the way the NFL is structured right now, the Ravens could win their last 2 games, end up 11-5, and because of what happens in the AFC teams, they could be on the outside looking in with an 11-5 record, and you can get somebody else with a very inferior record in another division get into the playoffs, and that can happen. And it would be a shame because Ravens right now are playing very, very well. I like the Ravens a lot in this game. I'm seeing a 10.5 on. I do not like laying double figures, but I don't think the Giants, from what I've seen, no matter who's at quarterback, no matter who's calling the plays, I don't think the Giants can keep up with the Ravens, and I think the Ravens will blow them out.
I agree with you. That would be my only way to lean is the Ravens, but it's no play for me. We know they'll show up. Like you said, they can win the last two and not make it. It would be a shame, but it's a battle between them and Miami. It's going to be one or the other. So, because the Colts, I believe, they already have 10 wins, so the Colts have the edge there. So we'll see how they finish, Miami and the Ravens, and good luck with that. But the Giants, they showed a few signs with this Joe Judge. But just want to say one thing. Last Sunday night, they're in the red zone 3 times, and they have 3 points. A couple times he didn't even attempt a field goal. I mean, you're at home. You've been playing real good. Why wouldn't you kick the field goals in that situation? I don't know what he was doing. They end up losing 20-6. Not saying that would have made a difference. I don't know, but you got to take the points when you're a bad team and but you have a shot at the division. You got to take the points. Cleveland's playing good ball. You don't get those opportunities a lot, but I think he's having growing pains too, Joe Judge. But we'll see. Next year, Barkley comes back. They get a little healthier. I think they'll be a good team in that NFC East, Jim, but not this year.
I agree with that. The Falcons at the Chiefs. I know you are down on the Falcons, and you've been right. You've cashed all your tickets on the unders. You had like 3 bets or so on the under win total for the Falcons. So you had a big payday for that. So that's already done. They have 4 wins on the season, and they're playing right now the best team in football, which is the Chiefs, who have been underperforming against the spread. They completely smoked the Saints last week and ended up winning by 3, which it should have been 2 touchdowns. I mean, they just completely dominated them. And if you looked at I think they had the ball 42 minutes of the game. I mean, it was unbelievable. But in any case, the Chiefs are an amazing, talented club. The Falcons have moments, and they can produce, and they can put points up. But unless you just like the 10.5 points that you get, I can't make a case for this game at all, unless you want to look at the total, which is a possibility, because if the weather is good in Kansas City, you easily could see a lot of points. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of wind. It's under 10 miles an hour. The temperature is going to be in the 40s, which isn't terrible. And I don't see any precipitation, but the temperature could, at the moment it's 21 degrees, but game time tomorrow or that day, Sunday, you're looking at probably in the high 30s, low 40s. So I don't see anything here except maybe the over. And taking 10.5 points in an NFL game is not a bad thing to do generally, especially if you think you can put up some points. And the Falcons do have an offense, but I'm not going to spend. I don't really have a play, but I'm just yapping about it. The next game is a big game. It's the biggest game of the week. The Rams against the Seahawks, and we talked about this game before we started recording. The Rams, right now, this time of year, they look like the better team. And if you looked at it in the beginning of the year, Seattle has gone through some ups and downs. They started off with a dynamo offense and terrible defense. They've swung it around. Wilson started making a lot of mistakes, carrying the team, trying to do too much. They swung it around. They're now running the ball more. They're playing better defense. They got Dunlap and they got Adams back. They added Dunlap from Cincinnati, and he's made a difference. They're going to put more pressure on Goff than Goff will like. That's McVay, and the Rams have kind of dominated the Seahawks lately, and it's a strange thing. You've got the Seahawks as a 1-point home favorite. Now, granted, there's no fans, and that takes away your home field advantage, especially as noisy as that place was when they had fans. But a lot of people like the Rams. I don't, I like Seattle, but I know the Rams right now, this moment, look to be the better football team. So I'm not going to play this game except to say I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim, on the offensive part, but I'm on the Rams +1. They win this game, they win the division. They lose this game, they're still in the wild card position. It's pretty good because next week they have Arizona, and McVay seems that he hasn't lost to Arizona since he's been there. He has a good record against Seattle. He just has a problem beating the Niners and Shanahan, but that's okay. You can't beat everybody. But I believe they'll show up. They got one of the top defenses in the league. I think that the top three, one of the, they're just strong with Ramsey and Darnold. They'll get after Wilson. But I know some players, like I said, Adams is good, Dunlap's there. Seattle has improved some. The Rams, the defense, McVay's sharp. I know Pete Carroll's a very good coach. I like McVay. I think, their running back, the rookie, is out, Akers, but they still have Henderson and Brown. They'll mix that in with Woods running a little bit, and they got a lot of offensive weapons. You just got to hope Goff isn't under too much pressure because, like most quarterbacks, even the good ones, you get in their face, even Brady. When the Giants got in his face in them Super Bowls, they lost the two of them. So, it could happen. But I believe that the Rams defense will play a better game, and the Rams will score enough points to win. I don't think it's a high-scoring game. I agree with you there, but I'm going to be on the Rams +1. I like to take short lines when a home team isn't favored by 3 or more. But now with the no fans, instead of maybe a home team getting a 3-point edge, maybe it's 1.5 now, two at top. So you can't really maybe look at it the same. But I'm on the Rams +1, Jim.
Okay, moving on to there's 2 more Sunday games. We got the Eagles, Cowboys, Titans, and Packers. Eagles and Cowboys, they both have a chance to get into the playoffs if Washington messes up and loses their last 2. Everybody's talking about Wentz being benched and Hurts playing well for the Eagles. The Cowboys came off a win or 2, and they're starting to look a little bit better with Pollard and Andy Dalton. It's a tough game. The Eagles are 2.5 point road favorite here. I don't think either team should be favored. I think they're both garbage clubs that can. They're gonna go out there and play. These players want to win. They want to play well. They want to keep their jobs, for God's sake. Everybody wants to keep their jobs. Not everybody's a $30 million guy that is guaranteed the job next year. A lot of these guys are hit and miss, so they're going to go out there and play. And I don't think the Eagles are good enough to be favored anywhere, except maybe at home. And, it's just kind of crazy. I don't see why they're favored.
I agree with you, Jim. It's no play for me, but if I had to play the game, I played the Cowboys. I had them last Sunday +3 with the Niners, even though I was 3-5 for the day, which brought me down to about 56% for the year, which I'm still on the plus side some. But I don't understand this move at all. The Cowboys maybe another player got injured or something, but Elliott said he's going to play. Whether he plays or not, the other running back is capable, but it's just a funny game. The Eagles favored on the road, so I'm going to pass. I'm more interested in the next game, Jim.
Pollard, right now, I think Pollard's a better running back, so it comes right down to that. And you have a very experienced quarterback with Andy Dalton versus, Hurts, who's only had 2 games under his belt. Yeah, he shows potential, and I think it's an upgrade from Wentz. Wentz was struggling. It was the right move. Anyway, the next game, the Titans and Packers. This is the 5:20 game here, 8:20 on the East Coast. This is a good game. Packers are 3.5 point or 3-point favorite at home. Total of 56. You got Henry, the running back. You got the Packers. Aaron Rodgers has been great. Tannehill is hit and miss. You got. This is a great game. This is a really good game.
Yeah, I give the edge to Green Bay being at home and all, but I took Tennessee plus 3.5. They're in a tie with the Colts for the division. The Packers lose this game, no matter what the Saints do, they have the head-to-head matchup. You know, they still have the number one seed, so it's not like the end of the world. It's going to be a little chilly up there in Lambeau, about maybe 30 degrees, maybe a few flurries, but I think this is a game where Derrick Henry, you know, he flexes his muscles almost every week, and why not against this team? So I feel if he can get enough yards and Tannehill can make enough plays, because the Packers, they've had a couple games this year, Jim, and I was on two of them where they get a nice lead in the first half, and the second half they sleepwalk. They did it against the Colts. They did it again last Saturday with Carolina, where they almost could lose those games. They cost me money both times. So, I mean, this could even be a crazy Super Bowl matchup. You never know. I'm just curious to see what you think. I've seen a total of 56. What's your opinion on that total? It seems way high to me.
Well, you know, Green Bay doesn't have a lot of supportive talent around. They should have, instead of going out and getting a quarterback, they should have added talent to this roster for Rodgers. The Packers get the big league and they slow down. Well, they don't have enough talent to spread it around, and you can't put it all on the few complimentary people that they have. So, you know, that's what happens here. So, I think you could definitely have an upset here. This is the type of game where the Titans could come in here and win this game. I did not bet this game. I favor the over, but the weather bothers me because it is going to be cold, and cold changes things. I mean, the ball gets a little slippery. It's, you know, Green Bay's a tough place to play. It always has been. I think it should be an extremely good game. This is one I will be watching and in-game betting. But right now, I have nothing on it.
Well, it's my third play. Tennessee plus 3.5, along with the Rams in Arizona. So I agree with you. I think they could go in there and win this game. I don't agree with the over like you're saying it could be, but if the weather's, then you would lean the other way. I just think, you know, you're running the ball with Henry. The clock's ticking. I mean, I know they get in games where they do score a lot of points, Tennessee and all. I mean, they're, you know, the last game was an over. The Packers have played 3 straight unders, so I don't know. It's a little hard to say when you're at 56, 57 points, Jim, in you know, less than 30-degree weather and maybe some flurries. But we'll see. Well, the Monday night game should be a good game. But if you want to comment more on Tennessee, go ahead.
Well, you know, first of all, there's been a move to the over, so that's an alarm button for me. But you know, I don't think either one of the defenses are going to stand up to an onslaught. If there's no wind, and it doesn't look there will be, you could see the ball in the air, and Henry's tough to stop. If you have to defend the pass and Henry in that running game, and the Packers have a good running game, and these two quarterbacks can light it up so easily. I mean, I could see one or both teams getting to 30 is not that outrageous. So I'm not going over 56. I'm not going to do it. I didn't bet the game. But in game, I could see something happening in game, either side or total. As far as the Monday night game, you know, this is a history. You got Buffalo 11-3. They're red hot. The Patriots are at this point garbage. Cam Newton looks like crap, and I don't think he belongs as a starting quarterback in the league anymore. That's just my opinion. He's not accurate. He never has been accurate in his entire career. It's all about his legs, about moving. He's a tough guy. He's a talented man. But an accurate passer, he's never been. I like the Bills in this game. Am I going to lay 7? No, I'm not going to lay 7. But in a teaser, maybe. In game, yes. I'm a active in game bettor. And when this game I could see the Patriots losing this game 23-7 because the way they're playing, they have nothing to play for. The Bills are red hot, and believe me, they owe the Patriots for a lot of losses over the years. and I'm sure they would like to kick some butt.
I agree with you there, Jim. It's no play for me. I thought of putting Bills in a teaser. The Bills. I said last week when we did the show. I said last Saturday was the time for Buffalo to say we're here, and now we're going to take this division, and this is going to start being our time now that Tom Brady isn't with the Patriots. I said they had to stand up and show something. I don't know what side you were on, but I laid the 6 at Denver, and they destroyed them. So they lived up to what I thought they could be and should be, and they did it. And I think you're right. They owe the Patriots. Everybody owes the Patriots plenty. Now, whether they want to do that in this game, they might, because they still have next week if they want to rest their players because they're in great shape. So, I think one more win and they clinch the division, because Miami, I believe, is just 2 games behind at the moment. But it's Buffalo or nothing. Like I said, I almost put them in the teaser, but I wouldn't lay the 7. But I could never take the Patriots in this game. I've seen enough of the Patriots now this year and Cam Newton. So, but the Bills are flexing their muscle, and they should. They're a very good team.
I agree, buddy. Well, listen, Mike, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Stay healthy. I know you will. And if there's any closing shots you want to take here, comments, let me know.
No, not really. Wish everybody a happy, healthy Christmas, and we'll see you next year, and we hope we close out the year on a bang. Maybe we'll do a show Super Bowl week. We don't know yet, but maybe we'll do one after next week. Probably won't do one for the playoffs, I'm not sure, but definitely maybe we'll come back with a Super Bowl play. Last year, well, some of us were right. Who was wrong, it doesn't matter now. But let's finish this year with a bang and get those sports books and bookies, whoever you're putting your money with. Let's hit some winners. Cash tickets, baby. So have a great day.
Thank you, Mike. Take care, buddy.
All right, Jim. Bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody, JimFeist.com. We're on Twitter, Jim Feist Sports. Check us out. Stay with us. We've had a good year. Mike and I picked a lot of winners. We've picked some losers, unfortunately. Some good breaks, bad breaks. But we're staying healthy, and that's the important thing in the COVID 2020 situation that we have. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
When the weather outside is frightful, the Hyundai Santa Fe is, delightful. Because it's got available H-Track all-wheel drive to make being out together better. Enter for your chance to win the newly redesigned Santa Fe, packed with all the jingle bells and whistles you need to go dashing through the snow together. To enter, visit Amazon.com/Hyundai or scan the QR code on specially marked red and green Amazon boxes. No purchase necessary. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
Between prepping ingredients, setting the table, and planning your tomorrow, sometimes you need an extra hand with dinner. Delta Faucet is here to help. Just ask your connected home device to fill your pasta pot with Delta Faucet Voice IQ technology and fill it with the perfect amount of water. Done. Visit deltafaucet.com/voiceIQ to see how Voice IQ can fill your dog's bowl, wash your hands, and more.